Welcome to the journey. I'm Jeremiah. So I push record and I just briefly think about what I want to talk about. There's so many things that I want to talk about. But what I want to talk about today is relationships and the fact that so many people are looking for them. And that is the first problem, is that we're looking for a relationship. And it makes sense that we're looking for a relationship because we are relationship creatures. We thrive in relationships. We build the world, essentially build the world through relationships. We can't do anything alone. So it makes sense to look for relationships. But the problem with looking for a relationship is the fact that it is an attachment. And detachment is the true source of freedom. And it's a very interesting thing because, for example, a relationship, the old adage is that when you stop looking, then you'll find. But many people will say that they're not looking, but secretly in their heart, you can't lie to yourself. If you're a single person and you, like me, desire the human things of this world, to be in a loving relationship, to have children, to get married, to have a secure and comfortable household, and also to have nice clothes and to eat good food. We want a comfortable life. And so we also, we need a relationship, right? And so there's already an error, the word need. This video is gonna, it's like there's so many dynamics because I'm saying the word need, and that's, it's like God. How women, if you're a needy man, it just repulses them. It's like a repellent. Like needing anything in this life is kind of a repellent, to a higher vibration. It's like if you need something, it's not as likely going to come to you. But when you detach from it, it's like that's when it comes. And so how do you not need a relationship when you secretly want one? You secretly desire to find this romantic love affair for the rest of your life, so that way you feel like you don't have to look anymore. You got that sense of contentment. Waiting back to see if my mom's gonna text me, but it doesn't look like it. It's a really tough dynamic to face, letting go of the need for a relationship. But the thing is it can be done. It can be done to detach from, I can see my breath, from the need of a relationship, to the point where you can truly say, I'm not looking. Because I know for myself, and I know several people who have told me I'm not looking for a relationship, even though I could tell that they are. And I have said many times, I'm not looking for a relationship to people. But deep down, I knew that I couldn't lie about it to myself and that I was looking for a relationship. You know, I would secretly be on a dating app, like just in the back pocket, you know, like, well, just in case, like maybe that's how I'll meet my partner. You know, gotta at least put the bobber out in the water and see if anything bites. You know, it's like, no, I'm not looking, but you know, you never know. No, the fact of the matter is, if the right person approached you, or somebody who gives you the attention you're looking for, even if they're not the right person, you would probably be at their beck and call every single moment they called. You would change your life, like, immediately, because you are looking. So it's not as simple as just saying, I'm not looking. And it's actually quite complicated to actually not be looking. It's not complicated, but in order to cross that bridge is actually quite complicated. You know, why did the chicken go to the other side of the park? To get to the other slide, okay? So how do you get to the other slide? It's complicated. I mean, it's not just a straight line. I mean, it is. That's the thing about it. That's why it's sometimes hard to explain certain things, because it's like a dice. You've got to explain all 6 sides thoroughly in order to get the full view. It's like you could say, like, well, just stop looking. Like, well, it's not that simple, because you can say I'm not looking, but in your heart, you are crying inside it. You're crying at night because you're alone. So, what is the caveat? How do you actually stop looking? Well, I'll tell you, I know the answer. You know, the reason why things are hard to explain is because you've heard the adage, the old adage, however you say that word. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can tell someone the truth, but you're not going to hear it. They're going to hear what they've been conditioned, what their perception of reality is. So, what I'll say is this. If you want to stop needing a relationship, it's complicated. It's like saying you gotta love yourself. And it's like, yeah, I do love myself, but nothing changes. Because it's like, it's a little more complex than just loving yourself. Because like, you can love yourself, but then you're still actually hate certain things about yourself. Like, unconditional loving yourself is like truly where the freedom is at. It's like you have learned your quirks and your personality and your strongholds, and you've learned to embrace them, but you've also learned to be disciplined. You know, it's like you can't truly love yourself if you go to bed at night saying, I'm going to work out in the morning, I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to start doing self-care, and then you don't do it. You can't truly love yourself if you constantly are lying to yourself. And you might not consider it lying. Truly loving yourself is very difficult because it's strength. It requires great strength and willpower. Not just to do the things we tell ourselves we're going to do, Because a lot of times we don't tell ourselves what we know we need to do because we know we're not going to do it. And so we don't even tell ourselves. We just sort of bury it. Where was I going with that? Loving yourself. So really loving yourself is quite difficult because it's like you really... It's not even about saying it. It's about living it. It's about doing what we need to do without having to convince ourselves to do it, but we do it because it's like if you have that partner that you want, you go out of your way to make them feel like loved. And you don't really think about it quite as much because you want that person to know that they are at the forefront of your mind. And we've got to do that for ourselves. And so, like, the point that I'm trying to make is that in order to let go of this need to have a relationship, we've got to learn to love ourselves. There are 6 more sides to that dice. There are still 5 more sides to the dice of learning not to need. Okay, and let me give you one of the biggest sides of the dice that will revelate, if that's even a word, your life, like a revelation in your life, like a paradigm shift, if you're willing to have it. And that is this. You have to let go. There's another 6-sided dice. What I mean is you've got to let go of your desires. Period. You've got to learn to serve God purely, and to best serve God, or whatever you want to call it, nature. To best serve, we've got to be our healthiest self. So to best serve God, we take care of ourselves first. And truly, that's all we need to do. Is take care of ourselves like we love ourselves. And it's not difficult. We don't have to convince ourselves every single day. We do it because we truly have let go. And we know that that's how we can better serve God in our healthiest state. You know, the reason why people are depressed is because they don't have things that they think they need. They get into a relationship because it fills a void in their life. The reason why it's been hard for me to get this YouTube channel going is because the way that my mind works, I'm also attached to things, like feeling like the need to be understood. And so I start talking about something and I feel like I didn't express myself properly because there are, in my mind, 6, at a minimum, 6 sides to every point. How do you let go? There are 6 sides to letting go. But then when you start explaining each side, it's like each side has 6 sides. And so it's more than just a dice. It's like this never-ending multiverse of It's like you need to define the words that are on each, you got to define letting go. You got to define self-love. You got to define disattachment, detachment. And then when you're defining detachment, you got to define the words that you're using to describe detachment. And so it's like there's like this huge amount of ground to cover, and it's just been difficult to learn how to speak on this broad manner, because I also have ADHD, and so my mind goes all over the place, and a lot of times I'll end up talking about something and I'll veer off into some tangent, and then I'll forget to loop back to finish the point I was originally trying to make. So, I could likely sit here and talk about something for 2 hours, and who's going to listen to a 2-hour video? So learning how to condense thought matter into something that's digestible for people has been the challenge. But anyways, with that being said, I've shared enough. I'm not going to concern myself too much with editing and perfection. I'm just going to upload videos, speak my mind, and learn to improve the way I speak, and let that be enough. So anyways, whoever you are out of my 9 subscribers at this point, because I have not advertised, all right, I'm gonna let you go. Have a great day.